All right, remote calculus, welcome to a quiz review video for quiz number 1, chapter 3. Again, this quiz Friday, the 15th, 1:30 p.m. So here is that document. I then have written these questions, both first. So find the derivative, I think the first 12. Find f prime of f. If f of x is equal to 8x to the third minus 2/3 x squared plus 7x minus 3. Simple power rule here. Bring down the 3. 3 times 8 is 24. 1 power less minus 2 times 3 gives you 4/3. X to the second, 1 power less would be x to the first. 1 times 7 there is 7. X to the 0 is 1. Derivative of any constant is 0. So that is your derivative on number 1. Easy peasy. Number 2, given negative 3 over x squared plus 1 over x, I'm going to rewrite that using negative exponents. Then I'm going to use power rule here. All right. Bring down the power. Negative 2 times negative 3 is a negative 6. 1 power less. Bring down the power. Negative 1 times 1 is a negative 1. 1 power less. X to the negative third means 6 over x to the third minus 1 over x squared. There we go. Number 3. X to the 2/3. That is what the third root of x squared is. X to the 2/3. Going to bring down the power. 2/3. 1 power less. 2/3 minus 1 is negative 1/3. This was x to the first. Bring down the power. 1 power less is x to the 0. X to the 0 is 1, so you got a negative 2 there. Then what we have here, x to the negative 1/3 puts x to the 1/3 in the denominator, 2 over 3. There we go, number 3. All right, so the square root of x to the 5th, that would be x to the 5 over 2. Going to rewrite that. Going to subtract a power from x away from both of those terms, leaving us with x to the 3 over 2 minus 3x. Power rule, bring down the power. 1 power less minus 3, and that is a good answer. So is this. Either of those is fine for number 4. All right, so that is 1 through 4 there. Let's continue. Take a look at number 5. We got the square root of x times 3x squared minus the square root of x. We wrote that using fractional exponents, x to 1/2, x to 1/2. Distribute time, add a 1/2 power to x. X to 3x to the 5 over 2 minus x to the first. Bring down the power, 1 power less. When I bring down the power, I'm multiplying 5 over 2 times 3 is 15 over 2 minus 1. That is your fine answer there. Let's talk about 6. So probably want to think of this as some u to the third. The derivative of any u to the third would be 3u squared, power rule here. Bring down the power, 1 power less. Take the derivative of u with respect to x. That's what I'm going to do. I don't want to have to multiply 8 minus 3x by itself 3 times and then do the power rule there. Instead, this is like u to the third. Bring down the 3, u to the 1 power less. Take the derivative of u with respect to x. Derivative of 8 minus 3x is a negative 3. 3 times a negative 3 puts a negative 9. Writing it like this is fine. 7, going to need the quotient rule, which is low, derivative of high, minus high, derivative of low, all over the square of what's below, low being the denominator. So derivative is low, the denominator, times the derivative of the numerator, minus the numerator, times the derivative of the denominator. Derivative of denominator, derivative of the numerator, all over the denominator squared. Clean up time, first added, entered last. And distribution. gives me, notice how the 21x's cancel, gives me this as my answer for 7. All right, honestly, probably want to distribute 8s. Okay, something we would have seen in Algebra 2. Distribute 2 terms by 3 terms is 6 terms first. Trying our best here. 6 terms first. Then we're going to simplify. Then we're going to take the derivative, power rule. We can just use the power rule after I have simplified. If you do the product rule, derivative of the first times the second plus the first times derivative of the second, you're still going to have a lot of cleanup. It's not like it saves you that much time. This is a nice answer that we get. Just distribute, and then use the easy power rule. Bring down the power, 1 power less. All right, let's talk about number 9. Number 9, you got 7x squared minus 4x plus 9 over root x. So dividing by x to the 1/2, we're just going to subtract 1/2 power from all these terms. 2 minus 1/2 is that. 1 minus 1/2 is that. Now, that doesn't have anything, but think of it as x to the 0. 0 minus 1/2 is this. So plus 9x to the negative 1/2. There's just the power rule. Bring down the power, 1 power less. Bring down the power, 1 power less. Now, let's not have negative exponents in there. So I can leave it as x to the 1/2. That's fine. You can call it root x. Minus 2 over x to the 1/2 or root x. Minus 3 over x to the 3 over 2 or the square root of x to the 3rd. All of that is fine. For 9. Number 10, got an easy application of the chain rule. So you have 1/3 cosine u. That's what's going on. So the derivative of any cosine u is negative sine u, and then the derivative of u with respect to x. So chain rule going on here. Chain rule basically take the derivative of everything. Take the derivative of cosine and of this 3x squared. So put the 1/3 on the outside there. Derivative of cosine u is negative sine u, and then I take the derivative of this u with respect to x, which is 6x. Negative 1/3 times 6x is a negative 2x on the outside. Sine of 3x squared. I made a little typo here. I actually wrote that was tangent. That is not. So for cotangent, if you don't have the derivative of cotangent down, we are going to do the quotient rule. All right. The quotient rule says low, d high, minus high, d low, all over square what's below. So low, the denominator, times derivative of high. Derivative of cosine is negative sine. Put the 4 on the outside, so negative 4 sine x. Minus high, the numerator, times derivative of the denominator. Derivative of sine is cosine. All over sine x squared. That's sine squared x. So distribute, I have negative 4 sine squared x minus 4 cosine squared x. Factor out the negative 4 they have in common. You need to know that sine squared x plus cosine squared x is 1. That's the Pythagorean identity there. Negative 4 times 1 is that. Negative 4 over sine squared x is negative 4 cosecant squared x. So that one, be on the lookout there. Finally, number 12, I have 1/3 of e to the u minus 2x to the 3rd. Derivative of 2x to the 3rd is 6x squared. Bring down the power, 1 power less. Derivative of any e to the u is e to the u. Derivative of u with respect to x. So the derivative of 1/3, e to the 6th would be 1/3, e to the u, e to the 6th, times the derivative, e to the 6x, times the derivative of 6x with respect to x, which is 6. 1/3 of 6 is 2, e to the 6x minus 6x squared. All right, find the equation of the tangent line to the curve at the given points. We are going to use point slope form. Y minus the y value is equal to x minus the x value of the points it goes through. All right, so we can set this up. We know it's going to be y minus the negative 2 is equal to blank x minus 2. So what you do is you find the general derivative, 6x minus 7. Then you plug the x coordinates of the point it goes through. Plug 2 in for x. So the slope is 5. So y plus 2 is equal to 5 times x minus 2. Find the general derivative and plug your x coordinate in. This now becomes a very easy question, especially when you're just doing the power rule to find the derivative. So there's your curve. The slope would be 5 minus 9x squared. It goes through the point x is 1. Plug 1 in for x. Your slope is a negative 4. Y minus the y value, 2, is equal to negative 4 times x minus that 1. And number 15 here, low, d high, minus high, d low, all over the square of what's below, the denominator squared. Distribute the x's cancel. There's the general derivative, negative 9 over x plus 3 squared. I'm going to plug negative 2 in for x. And I get negative 9. My slope's negative 9. So y minus 7 is equal to negative 9 times x minus a negative 2. Last question, position function can be given as h of t or s of t. Anyway, the velocity is the derivative of the position function. Acceleration is the derivative of velocity or the second derivative of the position function. So given the position function, two different ways to write it. Take the derivative of it, bring down the power 1 power less, bring down the power 1 power less. The velocity is negative 32t plus 55. Write that down. And then on A, B, and C, you just plug in the time of 1, 2, and 2.5 in for t. And we get the following velocities. Just plug that in for t. After you find the derivative, Make sure you take the derivative of the position function. Negative 16 times 2, negative 32t plus 55. All right, that is the quiz review. Quiz is this Friday, 1:30 via Google Meet. It's Yak Math Videos signing out.